From the moment Lamar Jackson walked off the field, you could tell he wasn't carrying the face of a guy who had just won a game. If anything, he looked weighed down by something nobody expected. And when he finally spoke, the honesty that came out was so blunt it stopped everyone cold. No sugarcoating, no relieved smile. He just told the truth about the Ravens' offense, and it wasn't a pretty one. And that reaction from him makes everything even more intriguing. Because when the leader of the team admits, straight up, that the offense isn't delivering what it should, you know something bigger has happened behind the scenes. As you start to understand what was really behind his words, it becomes clear this game told a completely different story than the scoreboard showed. One that only gets more serious once you look at what happened on the field. Lamar Jackson made it clear the win didn't tell the whole story. Even with the team sitting at the top of the division, he left the field visibly frustrated with the way he played. He spoke with a rare bluntness, saying the offense didn't come close to meeting its expectations. It was a kind of response that shows how much responsibility he puts on himself. While many expect a celebratory vibe, Lamar treated the interview like a warning. He praised the defense and special teams, but pointed out that the offense didn't match their level. The way he spoke, straight, direct, made it clear he wasn't trying to hide anything or pretend everything was fine. His message was simple. Winning doesn't erase what still needs to be fixed. The strongest moment came when he used the word underachieving. That's not a soft word, especially coming from someone who just won. He admitted the offense failed to put points on the board and made mistakes that could have been costly. That honesty changes the way to the victory because it shows he's focused on performance, not just a result. And that critical mindset is what opens the door to really understanding what actually happened during the game. His comments shine a light on everything that went wrong from the start, especially how long it took for the offense to find any rhythm. And when you look back at that slow, stumbling beginning, it becomes easy to see exactly where the problem started. The start of the game made it obvious the offense wasn't on the same page as the rest of the team. Those early drives felt stuck. No creativity, no movement, no sign that Baltimore was close to taking control. The team picked up only 4 first downs in the entire first half, something completely out of character for them. It felt like everything was one step behind, with no real rhythm between the play calling and the execution. That lack of rhythm became even clearer once the halftime numbers showed up. 72 total yards in 30 minutes isn't just low. It's the third worst first-half total of the Lamar Jackson era. That stat speaks for itself. When a number like that shows up, it's not just a rough stretch. It's a direct sign of operational issues, communication problems, and even confidence slipping inside the offense. Nothing was flowing the way it should. And the strange part is that even with all the talent this group has, the offense looked totally incapable of creating anything that truly threatened the Jets' defense. The playbook felt tight, the routes didn't develop, and the unit seemed to be fighting its own internal clock the entire time. It felt like every inch they gained came with huge effort, like everything was heavier than it should be for an offense built to dictate the pace. This rough start helps explain why Lamar went so hard in his self-criticism. What we saw in those early drives didn't match the level this team can reach, and that created a massive contrast with what Baltimore usually is. And when that disconnect shows up right away in the first half, it becomes impossible not to look deeper at who is being affected the most inside the offense, especially the guy who normally changes the game with his own hands. Lamar Jackson had one of those nights where nothing flows the way it's supposed to. His reads were slow, passing windows weren't opening, and the ball just didn't come out with its usual rhythm. He finished with 13 completions on 23 attempts for 153 yards, numbers far below the standard he sets when he's comfortable. It was a picture of an offense stuck in mud, fighting for every yard. And the running game wasn't any better. 7 carries for 11 yards shows how much his impact as a runner disappeared. And this didn't come out of nowhere. Those knee and ankle injuries that had bothered him all season showed up again in key moments. The burst wasn't the same. The cuts were more cautious. You could tell right away he wasn't at full strength. That physical limitation removed one of the offense's most dangerous elements, unpredictability. When Lamar isn't a threat with his legs, defenses play him differently. The Jets were able to sit comfortably, tighten the pocket, and force him into tough throws that cut down the offense's options dramatically. making everything rely on shorter, safer plays that didn't stretch the defense at all. And that mix of individual limitations and collective struggles explains why the offense took so long to react. Lamar felt the weight of his own challenges, while the rest of the unit tried to find ways to compensate. As those issues kept stacking up, another problem started becoming impossible to ignore: the offensive line performance, which ended up increasing the pressure from all sides.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
Baltimore's offensive line had a particularly rough night. Andrew Voorhees and Daniel Foley struggled from the very first snaps, especially in short yardage situations and interior runs. The lack of push was obvious, and it erased any confidence the offense had in sticking with the run game early, opening the door for even more instability. Those issues didn't just affect the ground attack. They also took away Lamar Jackson's timing. The pocket collapsed way too quickly, forcing rush throws and giving him no chance to establish himself. When the foundation of a play doesn't hold, everything else falls apart. And that's exactly what started happening as every stalled drive piled up. It became a physical and mental wall the offense couldn't break through in the first half. The direct result was a clear shift from offensive coordinator Todd Monken. With no trust in the run game's execution, Baltimore had no choice but to lean on a passing attack that wasn't clicking either. That mix of needs and limitations created an uncomfortable tactical situation, leaving the offense without a clear identity and with no simple way to break the slow, dragging pace of the game. That inconsistency also affected field position the entire first half, which ended up putting extra weight on another part of the team. Every short drive handed more responsibility to the unit that had to rescue the field position the offense couldn't create. And that's when the punter's role became far more important than it normally is. With the offense struggling so badly, Derrick Henry ended up becoming the emotional and practical turning point of the game. In the second half, he finally started hitting runs that gave the offense life again. His physical, relentless style wore down the defense and completely changed the tone of the game. It felt like with every carry, the offense found a little more of itself. Lamar made sure to highlight that after the game. He talked about how Henry treats every practice like it's game day, running with the same intensity every time he touches the ball. To him, that mindset explains why Henry was able to flip the switch in a game where nothing was working. The praise felt genuine, like someone recognizing that another player dragged the offense out of a dark spot. That second half impact helped Baltimore control the clock, extend drives, and take some pressure off the defense. Even with the offensive line struggling, Henry found ways to produce, breaking tackles or forcing defenders to come up short. His consistency elevated the entire unit at a moment where any stability was priceless, and it was his presence that finally allowed the Ravens to turn control into points, even if several drives still ended in field goals. The game took on a completely different tone once Henry found his rhythm, creating a sense of control that felt impossible earlier. His response closed out a night that started messy, but found a path thanks to the most physical player on the offense right now. In the end, the night revealed much more than a simple win. Lamar Jackson opened up in a rare way, making it clear the Ravens' offense is nowhere close to what he expects it to be. His honesty exposed real issues, from the slow start to the offensive line struggles and the decisions that left points on the field. At the same time, Derrick Henry's second-half surge showed there's still a strong foundation to build on, even when everything feels heavy. Now, the big question is, after hearing the team's leader admit the offense is underachieving, what do you think needs to change first? Because that kind of honesty doesn't show up for no reason. It's the type of moment that can shape the entire rest of the season. And if that mindset turns into action on the field, the next few games could tell a completely different story for Baltimore.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.